Hi, my name's Laura Barman, and I'm here to talk to you about what I used for kindergarten for my third child. His name's Josiah. He has a summer birthday. He was 5 at the start of the year. He had just turned 5, June 7th. And he's my first boy. I have my two oldest are girls. And so I just was really unsure about how he would do. And I always hear that Abeka is rigorous. It's always the only thing that we've done, so I don't really know how it compares. But it has always really produced awesome readers for me. So I just wanted to keep doing the same thing, even though I wasn't sure how he was going to do. And it ended up being a great year. And I just wanted to share kind of how we did things. So for kindergarten, we did all of our subjects basically with Abeka. We did phonics. It's called Letters and Sounds. Here's the teacher guide. And the teacher guide is kind of like everything you need as a teacher. It tells you like word for word what you need to say. I'll kind of show you. I mean, there's probably like 3 pages of about this much detail every day for what you need to do. And they divide it by topics. Almost everything you need is in here. And I had the parent pack and then the child pack. Here's an example of what like a worksheet would look like at the end of the year. I don't have the actual book because I threw it away. I guess I wasn't planning on doing this video. But anyways, it's really colorful, and the way I do work is I do everything on a clipboard for them. And so like he would have this on a clipboard, and since he's in kindergarten, he can't really do it independently, but everything is ready to go the night before. So the next day we just kind of look at what's on his clipboard and we just do that. And if I need to, I'll circle like the lesson number at the bottom if there's like one side that we need to do and the other side we don't need to do, just to kind of keep things straight. This is an example of a test like at the end of the year. And then sometimes they just have one side. I feel like most of the year they had this side and this side, but as you can see, it's a lot of like pictures. So I didn't feel like it took too long, even for a little boy. So they teach reading based on special sounds. So you learn all like the basic sounding out with short vowels and long vowels. And then after you learn that, then you learn these special sounds. Like every time you see a CK, it says ka. Every time you see a TH, it says the, or fl as in flake. And they learn all of these with these phonics cards that if you're thinking about doing Abeka, I'd say you definitely need this. And it is just a big stack of cards. Every special sound has its own like big page with a picture, and they kind of like memorize the picture too, I feel like. And then we just kind of flip through this book as they learn. And in the course of kindergarten, they're going to learn like maybe a third of those, and then they finish learning the rest in first grade. But that's always been super helpful for my kids. It's really painless. I mean, they learn maybe like a few a week, or maybe more than that as the year gets going. So you learn them with those big giant flashcards, and I've used them with all my kids. And then I also recommend having these, like this has a lot of special sounds on one page. I guess these are called charts, like a chart set. So all of the special sounds are like in this many charts. So it's just easier to take with you if you need, because sometimes they'll need to reference these special sounds if they're doing a work page, like on the run, or like while you're doing an errand or a doctor's office or something. So I kind of always had these like nearby, and I would just stick them on his clipboard if we needed to review them really quickly without that big binder. We also did handwriting with Abeka, and again, I threw out my handwriting book, unfortunately, but this gives you an idea of what they're doing at the end of the year. And typically he would have 2 sides. That was probably the hardest thing for him, because you trace and write that sentence, and then you would also do like another side. So we would split it up and do one like early in the day and do some other pages, and then like later in the day do the other side. He was not happy about doing 2 sides at one time. In the Abeka main curriculum guide that I have, it teaches cursive in kindergarten, which we have never done cursive in kindergarten. I feel like my kids are not ready for cursive in kindergarten, and I want them to be really good at printing before they move on to that. So you can buy this manuscript writing curriculum lesson plans as like just a little separate book, and it teaches you like how to teach them handwriting basically. And this is more of a reference, but I would recommend getting that. It's fun. It teaches them like every letter looks like something. Like A looks like an Indian teepee with a door. That's a big A. A little A looks like a small round ball with a stick to keep it from rolling away. And so, I mean, you do these one at a time, and it is just really helpful, especially if you're not a teacher like me. I was not a teacher in my previous career, so that was really helpful for me. I also have appreciated just using the same curriculum with more than one child, even though at times, I've been tempted to jump the ship and try something else, but I keep going back to the fact that I'm comfortable with it now, and it's almost second nature to teach it. So for language arts, we are definitely sticking with Abeka, especially in those early years. This is actually the book. I didn't throw this away. So I have this. This is kind of like the consumable book, and I would every night just kind of pull out the pages that they needed and put on his clipboard. In the child pack, you also get this Think and Learn book. And this is more just some fun activities. Like this is an example of like find these shapes in the picture and color them. A lot of times we would not do these because I felt like it was the least vital thing that we had going on that day. If you had more time and maybe less kids, you could. We have 5 kids, and we had a baby this year, so I feel like that did not happen, but it was okay. Math. We did math with Abeka as well. This is an example of kind of what they're doing at the end of the year. They learn addition, some money, some clocks. And I just feel like the way they teach it is really great. He learned a lot. I have manipulatives from other, like just things that I've collected over the years. So like we would supplement with some manipulatives, but for the most part, then since there's so many pictures, I felt like we didn't necessarily need that. In the teacher guide, if you follow, like I said, it's word for word math lessons. The teacher guide will refer you to like use objects. Like when we counted, we used real money. We would like play store. We used counting teddy bears a lot. We used, I had a whiteboard, a little personal size whiteboard that I would write a lot of stuff with him on that he could like pick the color and erase. So that's kind of how we kept things interesting with him. I also had a little clock that we practiced telling time with, and the counting chart is like, we use this a ton. So if you don't have this, I would definitely recommend getting that. And part of, in that teacher guide, they refer to all these books. And I love Abeka's reading program because there's so many books. I mean, maybe like 20 of these books. And so they feel like they're making progress because they're like graduating from one book to another book. And it's really exciting for them to like finish a book and get a new book the next day. But I mean, as you can see, like there's not a ton to these books. I mean, for them, it's a lot. So I just like prefer this to other curriculums that I've seen where like the books are really thick and maybe there's only like 3 books in the whole school year. I just feel like that would be harder with like keeping the momentum going. I bought some supplemental things for him this year. I bought this God's World kindergarten level, and I thought this would be fun just to read to him. And I still think it would be. I never got around to it because we just were doing so much with the other kids. We did like all of our family subjects. I have another video about that. And I just felt like with our family subjects, doing science and history, for him doing what I just described and then doing our group science and our group history, that was like almost too much for him. Like he definitely participated in science, sometimes participated in history. He did participate in Bible, but I did not need to supplement like with anything his grade level. Just like being a younger kid, being the 3rd kid, I did not find it in my day to do something at his level. And it was easier to like take that family subject, whatever we were doing, and like dumb it down a little bit for the kindergarten level than to do something totally separate. Although this was another really cute thing, Christian Liberty Nature Reader. I showed you the in my 2nd graders video. She did the one for grade 3 this past year, and I found that they had a kindergarten level, and this is another just like little cute book that you can read to your kids. It has like one for every letter of the alphabet about nature. So that's all that I did with my kindergartner. It was a great year. He learned to read. It's always a really sweet year. when they just learn so much and they're a student for the first time. So I always recommend Abeka to all of my friends starting homeschooling, because I feel like it really holds your hand and you can't mess it up. If you give them the worksheets and they complete them and you answer their questions and you do some of the teacher guide. Like for me, I did the math every day and I did the phonics every day, and I did not do the phonics review. I felt like with those things done, he was in really, really good shape. So I hope that's helpful. Bye.